So that's me, Jackson Bond. Relayr, what Relayr does is essentially help companies connect the physical sides of their business into the internet, connecting various physical assets and digitizing these assets. Some of them are legacy, very old, 20, 30 years old. Bringing those into the internet is no simple task, and we have a set of tools that allows that to happen. But before I talk about the tools, before I talk about why we do and what we do, I want to ask a quick survey. And then at the end of the presentation, I'm going to show some real-life examples of the Internet of Things. But the first question I always ask, because it's a sort of a new and vague term, so I kind of like to get an idea. Who in the audience, first of all, is an engineer? Anyone in the engineers? Any here? Those are the smart guys. These are the guys who are building stuff. Wait, raise your hands again, up high, all the engineers. Okay, we got about 5% engineers. We need about 50% engineers at least next time. So we need more engineers in the room. Second question, who of you are coming from a big company, a global company? Wow, okay, so 20%. And a medium-sized company. Medium-sized, medium-sized. Don't be shy. Right, medium-sized. You guys are at risk. The medium-sized companies are at risk. So you may have read the Gartner study. The Gartner study in 2013, I think it's 2 years old already, but they predicted by 2017 that 25% of businesses would lose their current position back then, their current position in the market. 25% by 2017. That's in 2 years, well, almost 1 year, right? 18 months, 1 year. So think about that. Your position, 25% of you in the room from those medium-sized companies, you've already lost some of your positioning. John Chambers of Cisco said this year, after their studies, he said, 40% of companies, middle-sized and large, 40% will be gone in 10 years, gone. Why is that? Because you're not moving fast enough. And I want to talk today a little bit about what we're doing with Relayr to help accelerate that process of digitizing your business. So it's all about what we say the Internet of Things. Who has actually used or are using an Internet of Things tool or product? Anyone? Okay, well, about 20%. Okay, if you've driven a Drive Now car, you're using the Internet of Things, a Drive Now car, right? Or anything that's car sharing. But it's not just about Internet of Things, it's really about, as I was mentioning before, it's about the transformation of your company into the digital age. And it's not about big projects, it's about thinking like a startup, making change happen now. Our mantra is starting small. As a big company, starting small, start quickly, start now. Because it's not difficult, and that's the misconception. The old age thinks we need a big project. We need a lot of consultants. We have to figure out how to get there. It's going to take 2 months to write a big spec sheet or a product or a roadmap and then build it out. And then it'll take another year or two. It won't. You can do it in days or weeks. These are some of the companies that we work with. Some of them are consultants themselves. They're also helping their companies transform businesses, and some of them are the big companies we work with. We've been fortunate enough to win a few prizes. But let's bring it down to the real things. So here's a challenge. Think about these different machines. I'm going to give you 3 examples. A large one. Who knows what this is? Printing press. How big are they? About as big as this stage. This one, you all have used one in your universities, in your company, maybe at a train station. Or this one, a medical device. So medication, about 20% of us carry medication every day. Medication is temperature sensitive. What's common about all of these 3 things? And many, many more? They all use sensors connected to the internet to improve our lives and our businesses. But more importantly, for you as a business who might disappear in 10 years or 5 years, or are already losing your position, more importantly is that these guys built their first solution in 1 day. Literally, 24 hours. And that's what it's about. It's about iterating. It's about building something very fast to learn from. Because the Internet of Things, which is this fancy buzzword everyone's talking about, or in Germany everyone talks about Industry 4.0, stop talking about it. Because you can build your own solution. Not within a year or a week or a month or a day, but you can do it right now if you have the right tools. Think about it. Who's tried to drill or screw a screw into a door with a knife? Who's done that? I've done that. I end up usually break the knife, right? You get another knife and you do it a little slower. It takes about an hour, right? It's a real painful process. But if you have a drill, an electric drill, whoop, that goes right in. It's all about the tools. So, and we're not talking about this. We're not the only ones. It's not just a startup saying this. Who knows this guy? Who's ever met this guy? He's representing one of the oldest and most important industries in Germany. Michael Seaver was quoted a few months ago in FATS, one of the most important dailies in Germany, saying, and it was he was pleading to his companies. He was saying, guys, stop taking so long, because you know what? It's 5 to 12. You have to start learning fast. You have to start building stuff. When he's saying it to the industry, you know it's time to move. Because this has already been happening, right? All of these industries that many of us know about, they're almost gone. They've been displaced. We know about the disrupting forces. This is not new. These are forces that are coming together to create this new world of Internet of Things. And I plead with you also. You look at those numbers, it's happening at a faster pace than ever before. Think about it. When was the browser invented? When did we start browsing on the internet? Right? 93. When did the app economy disrupt the browser? 2007-8. So about 15 years later, right? And now everyone's talking about the Internet of Things. The app economy's only been around for 5 or 6 years. Right? We all wake up with our apps. We go to sleep with our apps. And now soon, we won't need it because the things will be communicating around us. We know about the people. We know about the processes. We know about the data. But it's the things that are entering. And if you look around yourselves, the things you're wearing, the things you're sitting on, the things you use to move around, that's 99% of the world, right? The things. And now they're coming online. This just gives you a glimpse of the 20 top industry segments that are investing in the Internet of Things. So if you're not, you probably find yourself in here. Your competitors are already. So how do you do it? How do you make it really easy? Well, you need the tool set. You need that drill, the electric drill. And our electric drill starts with the cloud, obviously, because you need to have the data. And the only way you can get this table to talk to you and give you information is if you put a sensor on it. The table is dumb. Your clothes are dumb. But if you give it a sensor, something like a temperature sensor or an accelerometer, and you can get that data into the internet, well, it becomes alive. And you can watch your table. You can watch your clothes. You might not want to, but there's a company out there who desperately wants to because they make furniture. So you need that cloud. Our cloud platform is an open platform. We have about a little over 3,000 developers on the platform currently. It's growing about 20% a month. So there's a lot of activity. A lot of companies are doing this. But more importantly, those smart guys in the room, those engineers who raised their hand, next time 50% we want in the room, those guys need something to work with. So when they start connecting things, they need their SDKs, they need their APIs, the application protocol interface, the way to connect things together. And we build a set of open SDKs. But because it's also about the things around you and the sensors, we also provide some sensors. And we allow you to connect sensors. Your own sensors. You can buy your own sensors if you want and connect those for your appliances, for your machines, for your company. These are just some of the companies. We have about 60% of the companies on 60% of the developers on our platform are enterprise developers. These are just a glimpse of some. So you might find yourself on this list, and someone in your company is using our platform. So it's about, and this is in our engagement with the customers. We're going to talk in a second about these actual cases, these customer cases. How did they start? And this is something that we didn't define, they defined it. They came to us and said, guys, if you can do it so fast, build me something in a day. So we sat with them, we identified what are the things that interrupt, that disrupt, that they're concerned with, what are the business cases that they're looking at. And in about a day, we identified 1 or 2 or 3 really important cases, and we built it. That's the first step. The second step is then taking that and testing it. So you want to build something, but you really want to test it. And you know what? If you test it for 3 or 4 weeks, how much money do you think that costs the company? 20, 30,000? Hey, if it doesn't work, they can start again. They can build another thing. But they haven't spent a year doing it. They've spent 4 weeks. And they can repeat that 10 times before they make the mistake of launching a product that no one uses over a year. And then once you've tested it and it works, then bulletproof it. And that's phase 3, bulletproof it. And then roll it out. And that's what we're doing with some of the customers. Why? Low risk, cost control, fast, speed. So let's look at the cases. Probably our most visible case is, and many of you may have been there already, Cisco has a fantastic, innovative lab here in Berlin. It's a 3-story building that they've completely renovated. First they gutted it, and then they renovated it, and now all of these smart systems are inside the building. The problem is the smart systems don't communicate with each other. And that's where we come in with the middleware. We just sit in the middle, and these things, these heating systems, these cooling systems, these light systems, the security, the facial recognition, all of these different things start to talk to each other through the middleware, through our platform. So it looks like that's not the actual building, but this is a representation of the building. So you have all of these different heterogeneous systems at play in the building, and now they actually interact with each other. And what happens when you can make a building interactive is it becomes part of an ecosystem. So it's not only the building. You can add external weather data in the top left. You can add existing, through APIs, existing services that are already in the internet to help your building react more efficiently. And then you can, of course, connect it to your SAP, your backend, if you're a business. You want that data somewhere stored in your backend. Well, you have connectors. You can do that once it's in the internet, once that data is there. And then you guys who are using the buildings or using your homes, you come in, you've got your smart devices, you may have a Nest, you may have some other, you've purchased some fantastic new cool product. You bring that in, you can also connect it, which then becomes part of this ecosystem. But the building is a subset of a larger, much larger thing, which is the city. So city, smart city, it's a huge project we're working on right now, connecting different things together. So we're talking about public places outside. We're talking about administrative buildings. We're talking about private buildings, schools. We don't know the value. They don't know the value, but they know that once these things interact, it will become a network across the city that will add so much more value to the citizens that's not currently available. And they're experimenting. They're starting small with slow, small pilots. Also part of the ecosystem. So you look at the building, the city, the building, and what's inside the building, well, they're the appliances. Now, how many of you guys have a fantastic Wi-Fi connected oven? One guy. Okay, that's better than like about 5 weeks ago, nobody. So one guy, so we're about 1%, maybe less, has a Wi-Fi connected. So one of these big manufacturers said, we've got this fantastic Wi-Fi connected thing we've been building for 3 years, but nobody owns one. Nobody has one of these, and they're not going to for the next 10 years. Why? Because they live 10 years long. That's the idea. You buy an appliance, you don't buy it like every year, you buy it every 10 years. So their idea, they thought, oh gosh, well that's interesting. That's a problem. No one's going to own these things for another 10 years. Well, what if we connect the existing devices? And they realize, hey, we're pumping out 50 million of these every year, and they have a lifetime of 10 years. That's a lot of devices. That's a lot of appliances. What if we give them sensors? What if we give a consumer sensors that they can connect to the internet and provide value that way? So you're starting to see how your appliances behave like you see how you behave yourself if you're wearing a Fitbit or some of these health wristbands. Also part of the ecosystem, the same ecosystem. The city, the building, and now the elevator is a subset, the elevator itself. You want to have this connected as well, because as soon as you have that connected, you can alert, in any kind of problem, you can alert anyone as part of this whole chain, right? You can alert the customer, the user of the elevator, you can alert the manufacturer, you can alert the building, and of course the maintenance people, most important, that they come in real time immediately to fix that elevator. So you see what I'm getting at, it's an ecosystem. But not only big companies, we also have small companies using our platform. So this is a very interesting case. It's another Berlin startup, and they realized, what if we take sensors? So they're in the restaurant industry. Anyone in the restaurant industry here? Restaurants? Anyone? Nobody, okay. There are thousands of restaurants in Berlin. The problem with restaurants is that there's a European law that makes you keep tabs on the temperature and the humidity of your cooling and your freezing. But most of those things aren't connected to the internet, so you have to go down or go over to that refrigerating unit and write down the temperature. How many times do you think people forget to write down the temperature? Every day, right? So they said, that's so stupid. Let's just put a sensor there that tells us the temperature in real time, tracks it, and saves that information so we can send that to the Food Safety Authority so that they're fine, right? Genius idea. So simple. All you need is the sensor and the platform. And that's what they're doing. And they're launching already. They've sold it, I think. Anyone from Warsteiner here? Warsteiner? Okay, well, Warsteiner's, I think, bought 300 of these already. And they measure, simple case, they just measure temperature. Well, they went one step further, these guys went one step further, really cool. Germany's big for its beer. Everyone loves beer in Germany. So they said, well, hey, let's make the beer kegs smart. Cool idea, let's make the beer kegs smart so that the restaurant knows how much beer is being drunk and not being paid for. That's a cool idea. That's a cool idea. So they've been starting to save restaurants and bars a lot of money because they start seeing, hey, wait, we had 900 liters in this keg. We sold 840, but 870 are consumed. You know, where's the other 30? Where do they go? And that's it. Thank you very much. So you can do it, your company, whoever you are, you can accelerate into the digital age with the right tools. Get that drill and move fast. Thank you very much.